I never got to interview you for Gladiator, and it's now that it's been 20 years. I wanted to ask you what impact Ridley Scott and that film had on you as an actor, but also the "Are you not entertained?" line. What do you remember about saying that and that line being delivered on that day? It's so iconic. I think you say it twice in the film. I was just interested to know what your memory of that line was.
Well, like so many of the different scenes from Gladiator, they really start with conversations with Ridley and I, and we were in kind of a unique situation. We had a very big budget for the time, $103 million, I believe it was, and we had all of the elements because Ridley had been, creating what the sets could look like and working with the costume stuff for a long time. So he really knew what his world looked like. But we were just missing that, one important element when one is making a feature film, and that's a completed script, you know.
Mm.
So, and we didn't have time to actually, have that finished document before we started. So I believe, when we really started shooting, we had about 21 pages that we agreed on. And, there were some scenes from earlier drafts that had pins in them because the dialogue was pretty good or whatever, but we just really didn't know what the ABC of this journey was going to be, And a lot of stuff which has become iconic are things that literally come from late night conversations between me and Ridley and how people might approach things. When that line first came up, it was connected to a whole bunch of other stuff because there's quite an aggressive fight sequence before that. This is the second time you see Maximus in a slave environment, but his conditions have obviously improved a little bit, and he's now above the title kind of thing. He's sort of, and there was a fight organized before that, and I knew it had to end up with that line and that disdain, and it was a complex thing that Ridley was asking me to do. Ridley was asking me to go in to that situation and be so savage with the opponents that an audience who had come there and paid to witness savagery were appalled. To the point where my character is going, isn't this why you came here, mate? You came for this. Oh, I'm doing it too well, am I? It was, and I was like, wow, okay, that's tricky. That's a tricky platform to create, And we had one version of the fight, and I'd learned it and everything, but with the stunt guy, I was like, I just think that this is a little unwieldy, and it doesn't have an arrowhead on it, So I started working in my spare time on that particular thing, developing what I call the 6-man fight, right? So everything became much more linear, right? So I come out the door, I've smelt the dirt or whatever. You see him, he stands, tall, and then it's all on, and bang, 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 bang. And it has to have a crescendo, So, on the day, and we're always shooting tight, so part of what I'd sort of changed was giving Ridley the opportunity to shoot it very simply, So we showed him what, we'd prepared as a group kind of thing. And he was like, well, okay, there's a lot in that, now I'm going to have to get in here with this and that and move the camera and what have you. And I said, but there's another option. I said, well, show me the other option. So we lined up what I called, the 6-man fight. And so you're going through, and every part of that fight gets heavier and heavier and heavier till he gets 2 weapons and decapitates the last man,
And then he spits too, which was cool.
What's that move? And I said, well, that's a decapitation, And he goes, oh, man, I can't just, add a decapitation. That's something that people have to talk about. That's pretty heavy, what have you, And I said, but you want me to get to that thing. You want me to drive, the audience to disgust at the savagery, So this is the sort of thing goes, well, I can see that, And so he turned to his first AD, and this always sticks in my mind because it's one of those things that when you're on a big movie, you've still got a budget, you've still got a list of assets, And he turns to the AD, Terry Needham, and he says, Terry, how many heads have we got left? And they got ahead, stuck it on a body, and we did the decapitation. But yeah, that so there's for each little moment in the movie, there's always hundreds of conversations and stuff. But that's really how that film was achieved, because Ridley has this vision, and we're there working for him. And as every cast member came on board, everybody just bought into the world. If you look at that film, man, the performances in that film, you got Richard Harris, you've got Oliver Reed, you've got Derek Jacobi, you've got David Hemmings, then you've got Jaimin Honsu's amazing performance, and Tommy Flanagan and Tomas Arana, Rolf Mueller. And then you've got Connie Nielsen giving an amazing performance, and then you have Joaquin Phoenix creating probably the greatest bad guy in cinema, yeah, man, it was, you look back on it and you just think, it was incredible. All those energies came together. But when Ridley and I sit and talk about it, we really just start laughing, because for us, it's a series of bullets that we dodged, series of last minute decisions that everybody bought, so like the strength and honor thing, I was talking to him and I was like, I want to formalize Maximus in some way, because I want him to be informal with his men, but I want him to have something which isn't a salute or anything like that, that means either the conversation begins or the conversation is over, and, I started thinking about it. I started thinking about my school's motto, which was Veritate e Virtute, and I thought, oh, like a little 2-word thing like that's going to be cool, So I would, explained it to Ridley, and he goes, well, what are you thinking? And I said, Forza Eonorum, and he's like, what does that mean? I said, well, it means strength and honor. And he goes, oh, puffing on his cigar, say that. So it's something that's become that water cooler moment, and everybody knows where it comes from and everything. It's just a bunch of creative people working on a process, trying to make something special every day,
Wow. Well, Russell, I really appreciate you telling me that story. That meant the world to me. It's an honor to talk to you. I really appreciate all the things you've done for me over the years. You've been such a nice guy and a great actor, and I appreciate all your time. And as somebody who deals with mental health, and a beautiful mind is something I talk to my therapist about every single week, essentially. So I appreciate everything you've done in your career, sir. I appreciate it.
It's always lovely talking to you, man. And it makes my heart smile a little more when I see you in the news or I see you online or something, and I know you're powering forward and being successful. It's just like, congratulations and good luck to you, man.
Thank you, Russell. I hope you're staying safe, and give my best to your family. Hope you have a great rest of the week, and good luck. Congratulations on the movie.
Kev.